I'd like to talk about 1963 and Huddersfield Market Hall and some ideas I nicked off Giles Barrow and some more I pilfered off Alfie Cohen and Keith Allen and my mum. I was born in 1963, in fact 50 years ago yesterday I was born in Huddersfield, and I do remember the old Victorian Market Hall. I remember being up there in my pushchair looking down. That building superseded by what we call the new Market Hall, built in 1970 itself, under risk of demolition now. How interesting that is, that life comes in cycles, except when we think of our own life history, our own narrative, we don't think in cycles at all. We think of some crude line graph. In terms of we're born and then we grow a bit, and then there's the madness of adolescence, then it all comes together in some composed way when we're adult and then we die at the end. Ain't that neat? It's not how it goes. It's actually a repeated cycle of development again and again. A repeated spiral. Interestingly, like the motif on the outside of the current Market Hall. Have a look next time you walk past. And the cycle goes thus. First of all, when we're born, we need to belong. And then there's a phase about exploring and doing. And then there's a phase about thinking. We might say no a lot, even though we agree, just to show that we're thinking differently. And then there's a phase about identity and power. So we dress up a lot and we have plastic guns and stuff. And then there's a phase about skills and getting good at things. And finally, there's that period of integration. And this isn't childhood, and then once that's over, that's it. This recurs again and again and again. Any time we reach some transition, i.e. a new job, a relocation, a new partnership, off we go again. We need to belong, we need to explore, we need to fall out and find some boundaries. Good grief, we even like dressing up, but we learn not to smile to show that we're enjoying it too much. Purposeful practice is really important in terms of getting really good at things also. And also this thing about social integration. Is there any novel you've read, especially Victorian novels, that don't deal with the journey of an adult to a place in society, both affirming to them and of social value to others? Good grief. But we're not comfortable with this idea of being in constant flux. Yeah, we like to feel that we're above that somehow, so we distance ourselves from kids. Why? I do not know. But definitely we're kind of condescending. We look down on kids as being somehow unformed and all over the spot, and caught up in a kind of vacillation between all kinds of things, and yet we're together in a kind of composed and adult way. Why do we need that gap? Yeah, why is there self and others? Why is there us and them with children? It's a very odd thing, and we use science to back this up in the same way as phrenology was used to support slavery, in the same way that in as late as 1998, the British Boxing Board of Control told the talented boxer Jane Couch that she couldn't box because of her hormones. Wow. And one experiment we do use is the delayed gratification experiment. You give a kid a marshmallow, say, okay, hang on 5 minutes, don't eat it, we'll give you 2. When we video that, as if there's a problem with kids. There's no self-control, you know, kids. They can't delay gratification. It's not about kids at all. It's about having a pulse. In 1963, there were more Rolls Royces per capita than Huddersfield than anywhere else on the planet. Fact. What's that about? Well, that's about the zenith of the textile industry and all those rich industrialists blowing money on rollers instead of reinvesting in the industry. Go forward 20 or 30 years, the industry's gone and the Rolls Royces are rusting in corner at yard. Wow. So it's not about young or old or adult or kid, it's just about having a pulse, definitely. And interestingly, whether you're 2 or 102, we have exactly the same needs. And it's interesting to think about schools and workplaces here. So, if you're in a workplace that doesn't allow you autonomy, because we all need autonomy, if you're micromanaged to death, you don't like it, and we end up depressed and angry. Kids get this all the time in school. Wrong shoes, go home. Maybe a lot of schools, you have to ask in order to take your jumper off. What? And you get a detention if you haven't got your top button done. Well, thank goodness for that indomitable human spirit, so kids chop them off with scissors and, I can't do it up. Yeah? So there is hope for our future, definitely. We need a sense of belonging. Being in a workspace where no one knows your name is terrible. Schools are massive, they're too big. That's Larry Rosenstock, who builds schools in America. You won't build them more than 350 large, because that's the maximum number of learners that a principal could know. Good on you. We need competency, we need to be good at things that matter to us. And that takes focus and purposeful practice. Well, you can't do that in school with a curriculum. It's like supermarket sweep. It's as if Dale Winton had written the national curriculum. This is barking, absolutely. But there's good news in all this, because you want to be young again, guess what? You are. We're all adolescents. We're all in the cycle, repeated. So what good news is that? My mum realised that when she was 70. When she was 70 years old, she decided to be an actress. Never done it before, never worked for 50 years. And there she is being killed by Keith Allen in Bodies and mugged in Coronation Street and whatever else, because she realised she was young enough to do it. She was only an adolescent. Why not have that aspiration? And that's true of all of us, because let's not look down on kids. Yeah, we're in the same cycle as them, definitely, and it takes a lifetime to grow up. I'm enjoying my adolescence. Let's all enjoy our adolescence. Thank you very much indeed.